I'm here this morning as the Minister of Public Safety to tour these incredible facilities on the commercial front, which are operated by the Canada Border Services Agency. Our border in Canada is strong, and we're making that border stronger. I've had the privilege of now being present at land crossings across the country, marine locations, the Montreal port, British Columbia. I've seen the border from the east to the west. And now I'm here at Pearson looking at the largest port of entry airport in the country. This is a very, very busy, high traffic commercial setting for CBSA, and the folks who are with me here today do an outstanding job of operating a complex system of screening and detecting and seizing and sharing their know-how and their intelligence with, for example, their American counterparts. Those partnerships are strong. We share information, we share intelligence with our American Customs and Border Patrol colleagues. We do it here with the commercial space, and we also do it when it comes to the question of screening passengers at the Pearson Airport. We have invested at CBSA some $300 million of additional money for new and expanded detection capacity. Last week, folks will recall that we appointed Canada's first fentanyl czar. Kevin Brosseau, a distinguished career in law enforcement, intelligence, and security, who's helping us pull together all of the important parts to deal with the fentanyl crisis, which is a crisis for both Canada and the United States. So we recognize that we have progress to make here, and we have progress to make in partnership with our American neighbors. We're moving now to list, we'll have more to say about this in due course, but we're moving now to list criminal cartels as terrorist entities under the criminal code in Canada. This will give our law enforcement, our RCMP for example, police of local jurisdiction, provincial police forces, more authorities, more powers to follow the money and to look and see how criminal cartels are using sophisticated laundering tactics in a Canadian context. Right now in downtown Toronto, there's a gathering of the leadership of the Public Safety Department, which I lead, with Finance Canada, with our fentanyl czar, and with our senior RCMP folks. They're meeting with the 6 largest chartered banks in Canada. They are inaugurating a new money laundering intelligence partnership. And we're going to be supporting the sharing of money laundering and organized crime intelligence between our 6 banks, big banks, and law enforcement, again, to deal with the fentanyl crisis and the trade thereof. Because we know that one of the most effective ways of tackling fentanyl trade is to follow the money and to cut off the proceeds for organized crime, which helps us, of course, dismantle the criminal cartels that profit from dangerous and illegal drugs. This is about keeping our communities safe and making them safer. We're also investing in enhanced laboratory capacity right here at Pearson. We saw some of the lab facilities nearby. There will be more coming to assist in that hunt for fentanyl precursors, the drugs that are used to manufacture fentanyl, with recipes that seem to be changing. So we're tracking this now. We'll be in a better position to track and trace the precursors as they come in from other parts of the world. In the last 6 years, our police forces of jurisdiction, including the RCMP, have broken up 44 fentanyl labs across the country, including a super lab in British Columbia just a few months ago involving 95 million lethal doses of fentanyl, the largest such seizure in Canadian history. So we're making progress. We're disrupting. We're seizing. We are interrupting. We're shutting down labs. We're tightening up the way in which we approach our challenge with fentanyl. We've also seen here earlier today demonstrations of the use of canine teams and their handlers, outstanding teams, who are helping us also disrupt, for example, the trafficking of illegal firearms into Canada, for example, by seizing gun parts or guns themselves, as we see on the table behind us here. The types of goods that can be seized and held and destroyed by our folks at CBSA. So the people who are here are the ones who are finding and seizing the drugs, the illegal firearms, so they don't end up in our communities. Just yesterday I was made aware of new statistics from the Customs and Border Patrol in the United States. Between December 2024 and the end of January 2025, in a 2-month period, it is one statistic but an important one. Since the launching of our border plan, we've seen a 97% reduction of the seizures of fentanyl going from Canada into the United States. So the investments we're making on the front lines are helping. The Prime Minister announced a new $200 million investment in intelligence. Our law enforcement with our communications security establishment will be sharing more intelligence, gathering and sharing more intelligence for frontline actors in terms of what's happening on that front. So, with that being said, I'd be pleased to take any questions you have. Once again, the border is strong, we're making it stronger, and there's more to do. Thank you very much. Please.
Understanding that less than 1% of illegal goods are coming from Canada, what do you think it will take to show U.S. President Donald Trump that we are serious and that he will acknowledge this?
I think that what we're presenting to the new administration is an integrated plan between both our countries to deal with the fentanyl crisis. I think we recognize on both sides of the border that it's affecting us equally. In fact, one of the things that we have shared with White House officials is that on some particular days, on a per capita population basis, there were more Canadians perishing from fentanyl than Americans. I think they were astonished to learn this. So this is a joint effort now, and that's why we're standing up new joint strike force teams, both inside Canada, 10 of them, working with our American counterparts. We're going to keep working to eliminate the scourge, the production, the distribution, the consumption of fentanyl. It is less than 1%, but we're going to move to eliminate it. And we're going to do that jointly with our American colleagues. It is a very tight, integrated approach, and we think it's starting to have quite an effect.
And so, you were saying that you were surprised to hear the stat that you provided. Are you seeing now sort of a change in deceptiveness or any sort of acknowledgement?
Well, we're seeing at the operational level a very tight relationship and working cooperation and trust, sharing of information. That's strengthening, and it's really bearing fruit, we believe, on both sides of the border. So in terms of messaging back to the White House, I think the White House officials are aware of what's going on. The level to which we are cooperating and working together. And we're working to, obviously it's in our enlightened self-interest in Canada to deal with the fentanyl crisis, but it's also in the interest of this most precious of bilateral relationships. So we're going to continue moving forward. Our border is strong, but we want to make it stronger. Okay.
So a BC judge recently found that the RCMP breached charter rights of the West Pipeline blockade. What is your reaction to this, and what will you do as minister to make sure that it doesn't happen again?
I just recently was made aware of the judgment. We'll be taking a look at that, of course. But the court has spoken. We respect the outcome of the court's decision. My officials will look more at the decision and come to ground in terms of what is the best way to proceed to take any corrective measures internally.
I'm one of the voters. So first question I want to ask about, is there any response from the President Donald Trump about how they're taking care of the voters and how
We have a very multi-pronged relationship with the United States administration. I'm working with my counterpart, in fact, a few counterparts in the administration. My colleagues are working with their counterparts, and we are constantly in touch and communicating the progress that we're making. Look, at the end of the day, our view is that neither economy, neither peoples will come out in an improved way if tariffs are applied on both economies. If the president continues to move forward in terms of applying tariffs, there will be a response. It will be a measured, but it will be a serious response. And so we're of the view that it is best not to proceed down that path. We're taking corrective measures here in Canada. We are communicating it very directly with the White House. We remain hopeful.
So my other question about how is the current Canada taking care of the irregular way border crossing from the United States?
The government's brought in a series of new measures led by my colleague, the Minister of Immigration. It has, for example, made changes on visa, obtaining visas, for example, for some nationals. We've made some changes in terms of international students and their visas. We've made changes, practical changes in renewing those visas. We've seen a major decline. In fact, I think it's a 98% decline in illegal migration from Canada to the United States over a 12-month period. Less than 1% of illegal migration into the U.S. is from Canada, just as less than 1% of fentanyl in the United States is crossing in from Canada. So there's progress to be made. We're still working on that. We're making major technological and other improvements on the border, and we're starting to see that the plan is working. Thank you.
I want to ask about the money laundering partnership, the intelligence partnership with the big banks. How much of an issue is money laundering with regard to fentanyl right now?
The teams that are working together on this now will have more to say about that in terms of details in due course. But we know that by criminalizing, by amending the criminal code to have criminal cartels now listed as terrorist groups, we will be helping law enforcement with some specific approaches to tracking and tracing money. We know that if we can interrupt, if we can detect, if we can seize, if we can break up money flows, this is the heart and soul of fentanyl trade. So we're hopeful that that will make a big impact as well.
And what is the conflict?
Sorry?
What's the conflict goal that you hope to come out of that partnership?
What's the goal? The elimination of the production and consumption of fentanyl. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to keep our communities safe. There have been enough Canadian families touched by this, enough American families touched by this, but we're in this together. That much we know for sure. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.